You already know which side I'm on. So, today's episode is a new episode of Versus, which is like the episode 2 Versus, kind of like a little mini series I'm trying to do. And today is about ownership, which is what I proudly represent, and franchise. And I was going to do these in two separate videos. It was going to be why a little bit more in depth of why I became in depth, why I became a massage therapist, and to make a video for future therapists who's interested in becoming one. So I think it'd just be best instead of doing those two videos just to put them together. So to kind of run through, I talked about this before, how it became my name. Okay. The Zodiac experience, how that come, it has my story, and it kind of have a lot of my why in there. But my why I'm doing this is to really try to help everyone's well-being that comes actually, you know, progress and relieve, you know, tension, headaches, just to help people and be a part of the well-being or on them becoming the best version of themselves. That's why my motto, resync back to yourself. That's where that comes from. It's like I want to help you to be the best version of you, right? Using massage therapy and everything that I've learned. So that's my why of doing it. My other why is because I want financial freedom, to be honest. I want it to, you look on, if it's YouTube or whatever, whatnot, you look at, you know, other people doing, entrepreneurship and everything, and you look at how it's like, man, like people are really enjoying their lives. And everywhere they look, they going on trips, they traveling. It doesn't necessarily have to be on YouTube. You may know somebody that travels all the time. You may know someone that is on this trip and that trip, and they're going on a cruise, they're going to Bahamas, they're going overseas, they're going to Paris, they're going to Vegas, they're going to Cali, they're going to Florida. I can't. Everybody's going to Florida. Like Florida needs a break from the world, or at least the nation going to Florida. Pick Wyoming or something, or Idaho. Go see the potatoes. Go cruise through Colorado, see the mountains on a sunny day, but snow on top of the little mountain tops. Everybody don't need to go to Florida. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I just hear a lot of people go to Florida. That's all. I'm just giving y'all slack. But I wanted freedom to be able to enjoy every day, and I kind of touched on that before. But I wanted to control every day. I didn't want to wait for the weekend. I wanted to control every day. I have two boys. I wanted to, two sons, teenager and a young one. And I wanted to be more there for them. So my question to myself is like, okay, how can I play a big part in helping others be the best version of themselves, make a living off of that, not having to work 40 hours, X amount of hours. The average amount of hours, I believe, for a massage therapist is like, 28, 30 hours, 28, 30 hours, somewhere around their range. But therapists don't do 40-hour weeks. This is why every time, in a franchise, which we'll tap on, and I think I already tapped on, this is $20 a client Actually, I know I tapped on it before. It's like they only get $20, no matter what they do. It's $20, but really, to be more specific, is $20 per client. So if they do not have a client during an hour in the franchise, if they don't have a client during an hour, they really only get paid $8 to $10. So if they work in 6 hours and they only have 3 clients, you know, that's doing an hour, that's $60. Then the other 3 hours they get $30. They got half of that. So they only make 20 some odd hours if they are working on a client. If not, it's $8 to $10, right? Ownership is, I mean, technically when you have your own practice, when you get clients, you can charge a lot more than when you have, and when you don't have a client, you don't get paid at all. I mean, compared to ratio, at least you get something, but still, I'd rather do ownership over franchise anyway, right? So that's something to think about. Having financial freedom, helping others to have a well being. You ever? I thought about like, man, what is it like to like pay yourself? Usually, you get your paycheck, it's signed by the owner or CEO or whoever, and it's like, man, because you would never get paid. I felt I would never get paid what I deserve, and the only person that was going to pay me what I deserve was me, right? No matter what you do, the franchise, and I mean, I get it. Business wise, it's going to be they got more than just you. They got more therapists, they got more, sales associates or salesperson or booking person, and all the positions to help their franchise run efficiently. But at the end of the day, the work that you're putting in is what's making that franchise go. It's without the therapist, the franchise has nothing but tables and linens that look like maintenance closets and boiler rooms most of the time. I can't unsee it now that I see maintenance closets and boiler rooms. Anytime you go to any franchise, that's just what it looks like to me, with a table in it and a dim light. I'm good. I'm good, right? So, um, that's one of the things that I chose to do ownership, and why I became a therapist, to have complete control of my schedule, sign, pay myself what I feel that I deserve, be there for my boys, have an impact on others' well beings, and and enjoy every day, right? And the cool thing about being a massage therapist is you get to go wherever you want. You have the freedom to control your day. You have the freedom to travel and get paid for it. You can go to Vegas, I believe, work up to like 2 weeks. You can work up to 2 weeks, and it doesn't have like all 2 weeks. Like you need to take a 2 week vacation, but you get an amount of 14 days before you need to be licensed in another state. And depending on your credit hours, or not your, well, yeah, how many credit hours you have. Some states vary. Some states require you to have 500 credit hours or hands-on time, in order to have a license. Here in Indiana is 500, but in New York it's 1,000. But depending on what school you get, they'll give you, you can get 750 hours. And the school I went to, that's what you originally got, but now they're giving 900 hours. And the other hours is accumulated by doing continuing education, right? So that's my reason why I chose out, to add, the gaps in the story of the, episode one, the Zodiac Experience. Um, that's the reason why I chose to do it, and not have somebody tell me what to do. I can help them the way I feel is best to help them, have complete control, and that's going to give you complete responsibility too. And some people are not mentally prepared to do that. Some people don't want to work that hard. Some people don't want to, they just want to go do the work, get paid, and go home, right? Which is understandable. So, covering my why, I go into the ones who are interested in becoming a massage therapist. What is your why? You need to know why you're doing it, because that's going to have an impact on your longevity in this industry. If you're just doing it because you kind of want to, you know, do what you do, just work and just not have a boss, and there's no really definitive reason why you want to do it, and and think about it long term, you're not going to make it that long. You may do it a couple of hours and then you're going to get burnt out. Burnout is going to happen regardless you're doing it for the right reason or that has longevity or not, because you're doing it repetitively and every day, all day, your own boss and ownership, and you're taking care, you're getting your own contracts, you're signing yourself, or you're paying yourself. You're hopefully you have an accountant to help you with the budget, you know, the software, for your website. You got to think about marketing. You got to think about your equipment, where you're going to be, location, are you going to do mobile only, like everything you have to think about runs through you first, from your logo, if you want to do merch, your scheduling system, your scheduling software, if you're going to take a down payment, if you're going to take you know just to have someone schedule without a down payment. There's ups and downs to that. It's so much you have to think about, which I get into more as I go through this list on, as far as ownership. Well, I might as well get into it now. Let's do it now. One of the things, just to get it out the way where I'm at that topic, is, owning and having your own website, which you'll need a scheduling system. I use Squarespace. I think it's pretty good. The scheduling system I use is Acuity, and all that costs. You have a budget. There's Wix. There's, you know, other ones out there. I think there's like I forgot the other names, but you have all this stuff that you have to think about, right? And then you got to think about if you want to deposit or not. And a lot of people don't have, or don't really, they run from deposit. And to me, I think deposit is a good thing. And the reason I think deposit is a good thing is because it's, if someone's serious about booking, that's not going to affect them. Someone that doesn't really necessarily trust themselves, and they don't want to lose money because of how their lifestyle is or their system or whatever they have in place, that they book one and then they forget about it and they just lost some money, and nobody want to throw money away, right? So at the end of the day, I think having that deposit, it will help decrease, or maybe not eliminate, but really help give you clients that are actually going to come to their session. Because when somebody gives you money and they wanting service, oh, best believe they coming. They paid for it. That's the same reason it's like, oh, I paid for this. Or say, they scheduled a Saturday and all of a sudden they got to work because they paid for it and they understood. Hopefully have your terms and conditions and all that stuff done and agreeing, and that's you got to build all that yourself. They're gonna be like, I got a session. I paid for that. I paid for that session. You gonna give me my money back? Because I can't reschedule it. It's gonna be more of a demand on outside of their work schedule or whatever. But if someone that hasn't paid a deposit, is more likely, not saying every time, but it's more likely they may be like, oh man, something came up, I overslept. I'm sorry, dude. Or, I'm sorry, miss, or whatever. I'm sorry. And you just blocked out a certain amount of time, which, if being your own boss and running your own practice, that time cost. And if you're not serious about having, or having your time paid for, especially going through all the training, going through all the schoolwork, going through all the tests, the state board, and whatever life tornadoes just get thrown at you, and earthquakes, then you don't really value what you're doing, which is another video I'm gonna do later on called Value Yourself Worth. It goes both ways. Value yourself worth, and then value your self worth. So it's both things. As the video coming later. But back to the ownership versus franchise. So I think it's best to have that deposit because it's going to separate You know, the people that are serious about having a session, that's serious about about getting the session from you, that respects your time, respects your craft, and respects you, and knowing that this is how you make your livelihood. It's not coming from a selfish mentality, like, oh, I just can't do it, so whatever, you're gonna have to figure that out. They that's showing that it's like those are the ones that do business good, that pays the deposit. Like, cool, I respect all that. I understand you got to live. I understand you got bills to pay for, especially when you get your own. You got two rents, your roof over your head where you lay your head at, and then you got the your establishment or your practice, or you got to build all that up. So going all the way back to the original, I'm gonna probably be jumping around a lot here. Is know your why and make sure your why is strong enough for longevity. Because if it's not, it's going to dictate how long you're going to be in this industry. So that's very important, right? And then once you understand your why you want to get into it, or whatever reason it is, if it's, you know, financial freedom, time freedom, or whatever. Because once you're your own boss, like, I actually like weekdays better than weekends. I'll go on a weekday to lunch to a restaurant, ain't nobody in there. Everybody's at work. I love that. There is no lines. Well, on the weekend that everybody wait for, oh yeah, it'll be a 45-minute wait. 45 minutes. I'll wait till Tuesday. Because I know y'all ain't gonna be here. And I'm not saying because I'm a people person, but I don't like waiting anymore because I have ownership. I know the times and where to go. You go anywhere you want to. Watch a even a Monday. But Monday, I don't think it's good for restaurants to like get food from restaurants because it's Monday. It's back to that, oh gosh, it's Monday. I gotta get ready for the week. I'll wait at least Tuesday, Wednesday, where it's kind of like they're into the week before you go. I'm speaking to the entrepreneurs out here. Lunchtime, maybe a little bit after that, it's the perfect time to go. Right before lunch or right after lunch. Perfect time to go. Avoid the rush, 2:30, something like that. You go right straight to a table, no problem. You're one of the few in there amongst, you know, maybe some older generation, senior citizens, or however, right? But know your why, so you know what you got to do. Next is research everything you can about massage therapy. Research the franchise. Research, you know, the hours that you use, because you're not going to work 40 hours, and you only get paid per client. So if you got 6 hours, unless you have 6 clients, you're only getting paid $20 or whatever that money that sounds good that they tell you. You're only going to get that per client. Otherwise, you're getting $8 for just being there. And then most likely you got to do laundry and linens and all the other stuff. And you're in the break room hanging out and you're bored because you're doing what you're doing laundry. You're working at a laundromat because you got 2 clients. So you got paid $40 and then you got paid $40 for 6 hours. You know what I mean? You do the math on how I broke that down, but make sure you're compatible. Make sure it fits your life. Don't put the career of a massage therapist. Don't make your life about it. Make sure, and this is what I mean by make sure it's compatible, because you want to make that career fit around your life. Your life shouldn't be about massage therapy. Your life should be about, or massage therapy should be your life. Meaning, this is what I do. I work X amount of hours and that's it. And I'm at home with my family, or I'm at home playing a game, or I'm traveling, or whatever you do. Because as your own boss, you can work less. As your own boss, you can work, you can work 3 hours a day. Because 3 hours a day, I think the average as your own boss is you shouldn't, well, depending on the location. But to me, my rule is I'm worth at least $100. So everything from that's an hour and more is $100 straight. I'm worth at least that, because I look at it as majority of jobs is a double digit type of money anyway. The real good money is, ooh, you make $25, $30 an hour, $35 an hour, $40 an hour. Like, I don't even want to be in the double digits, because Those are all the regular other jobs, unless you're a electrician to, and you make $100 plus. If I'm correct, electricians can make $100 an hour, make 40 grand in a weekend. Like, what the fuck? But majority of jobs aren't making $100 an hour. My rules, I'm worth at least 100. And being your own boss, running your own establishment, running your own practice as a licensed massage therapist, of course, you can get paid more. So what takes you where you usually work any other franchise or any other job, period, but franchise are getting paid $150 a day. You can make that in 2 clients. 6 hours. I mean, think about it. Even with the $20, you get 2 clients, and for 2 hours, and then 4 hours you get the 10. Just being lenient, you get 10. That's only $80. One client, and you work 6 hours for that. One client, you get $100 for 1 hour. What are we doing here? Right? It's only right. And then once you figure out if it fits, it's compatible, and you want to go forward with it, then you need to find a good school. Find a good school that can really teach you. Go sit down with them. Don't just rush to get into a school. Take your time. Find what fits best for you. How's it going to work around your schedule? Because I went to Indiana Wellness College. I took night classes. I worked 4 hours on a Monday, and that was all like book work. Then Tuesday, 4 hours was all hands on. You know, was all hands on. So it's best to make sure it fits around your schedule. Some may require you to work 1 full day, because Indiana Wellness College also is, you can either do that, like night classes, 4 hours, 6 to 10 book, 6 to 10 the next day hands on, or you could do 1 full day. But then you also have clinic, because you got to accumulate those credit hours of like hands on to show that you've done the hours and that's needed for you to get your license. So that's like 2 days. Some may require you go a week. Some may require you. Make sure you find something that's not just fits your life and your scheduling, but also find a place or a school that can help you or give you the best chance to learn what you need to learn. Are they mostly book work? Are they hands on? You're a visual learner. Are they mostly online? Like, you got to figure that out. Find a good school that's compatible for you, right? That fits your learning capabilities and how you learn things and your scheduling and how much it costs. All that, of course, you got to do that, right? So after you find a school, you got your why, you make sure it's compatible for you. You found your school, right? And then you go to school. You complete the hours. You complete the program. Then what? And this is the reason why it's the ownership versus franchise, because you're gonna have to make a decision. Because like I said before, if you go the franchise route, Rich, I'm I want or I chose ownership, but I established my own practice the long way. I went to a franchise first, because one thing about school is they don't teach you a lot of the business aspect. They teach you about the business, and they teach you about, you know, some business things, but you don't learn the business of massage therapy. And that's why I went to a franchise for me, because I could learn how it ran, how a franchise ran, in case in the future I wanted to make this into a franchise, which I actually do want to make this practice into a franchise, but that's long term that we do. But you'll understand a lot more how it operates, how it moves, the moving parts, the functions, the hours, and you get to talk to the clients, and that's why sometimes you call it practice. You get to figure it out and figure out if you want to take on the responsibility that this business is doing, or if you got it, it's like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Then you be definitely be able, then you be in position to have a better understanding when you go out on your own, right? And if you want to go medical, if you want to be in the chiropractic office, the franchises varies too. You gotta, it's not just, the beach and the get away from home and float tanks and all that stuff. You got to understand what fits best. Are you more medical? Are you more, which modality that you're leaning more towards? Are you more the regular sessions, deep tissue? The basics is pretty much deep tissue, Swedish cupping, stones, and maybe a foot scrub. Usually that's the basics. Or do you want to add more? Do you want to be in a place that wants you to be constricted to that? Because some franchises you got to work a weekend. Do see if that fits? Some franchises may allow you not to work a weekend. And weekend may be one day. However, that is like it's there, but you got to understand with a franchise, they also take in the marketing. They're the ones responsible for giving you clients. They're the one responsible to make sure you have everything you need, equipment wise or whatever, breaks, scheduling. They're responsible for it all. The easy part is you just go in and you do what's on your schedule for the day. That's it. And it's very easy to be conformed, especially coming out of school, because school already kind of teaches you how to be conformed into that anyway. You go, you listen to the teacher or the instructor, you hands on, and then this is what you have for the day. These are the clients you have for the day. Make sure you do your homework. It's a system that you're following the lead of course, in this case, because you're learning, you in school. But in the franchise, they like to capitalize off of that. Some like to go get those therapists. I don't know why I did the claw thing, but some go get those therapists because they already not just have their license, they're fresh in, they're trying to figure that out because they don't know their value yet, but they're trying to figure it out. And it's like, but you already been practicing a system to that we can still maintain. So versus school, this is how we do it. Come and just do it how we want you to do it and continue that learning process. Even though you're not learning, you're more just doing it for them because they don't have the license. But as an owner, you get to do whatever you want. You get to schedule your sessions whatever you want. You get to schedule your days off whenever you want. You're responsible for the marketing. You are responsible for your taxes. You are responsible for your transportation. If you want to do just mobile, then you got the car thing. You got, social media, that's part of the marketing. You have, the equipment, the linens, the establishment. You got to do all that. Everything is, of course, but everything, and I don't know if people really understand that, but it creates that freedom that because everything is up to you, everything also is your way. Nobody told you what to do. This is how you do it. How you going to pay yourself, and also understanding, you know, um, understanding the process. Enjoy the process. If you That's something always. If you want to manifest something, you gotta love the process just as much as you love the outcome or the destination you're trying to get to, if not more. Because once you learn how to manifest something out of your idea, it starts with an idea. Hey, I might be able to be a massage therapist. Let me see if I could do that. And that turns into actually going to school, and that turns into learning that, and that turns into, you know, graduating, that turns into your license, that turns into a franchise, that turns into a business. You're gonna be like, wait a minute, I just manifested, I just thought about this a couple years ago. But now here I am with my own. That's pretty cool. I wonder what else I can manifest. Hmm. You know? That's and then next thing you know, you build and then you end up having a life you never thought you could have because now you have complete control. Now you have time to plan your work around your life, not your life around your work. You want to go on vacation? Nah, just clear this out. And there's so many things you can, everything from the car, cell phone, lotion, equipment, all that stuff you can write off, and it's great on taxes. Save all your receipts. You got to get in the process and build a system of saving everything. And if you got a good accountant, they'll help you out with that. But it's definitely there. And another thing is you got to continue understand that once you graduate, you get your license, you got to continue learning. Never stop learning, because it's required anyway, called CEUs, continuing education, credits. You got to continue to learn, and usually it's every 2 years, and now it rolls over, but every 2 years you need at least like 24 credits every 2 years. So you got to take classes, and your insurance. If I got AMTA, I can't say too much about. The other one is AMBP, I believe. They have some stuff too. They got some videos and everything. They got quite a few stuff too. But you got to do that. Make sure you pay back your student loans and everything. That's regardless. You don't franchise or for yourself. You're responsible for that, period. That's if you got a loan, unless you paid it all out because you balling. But also make sure because you don't want any burnouts doing this. And this goes back to the why, that you can be like, man, I don't know. But when you remember your why, and you remember why you're doing it, and you're doing it for the right reason, and you're putting, you're making an impact, and you're being valued in someone's life to help them be the best version of them. That's a priceless feeling. You can't get that. And if that's not something that you're doing it for, or if that's not a part of it, then this may not be for you. May not be. And then one thing to think about is job security on the entrepreneur ownership side. When you are your own boss, nobody can fire you. Nobody can tell you what to do. You're your own boss. So you don't have to worry. And COVID taught that. It was the job's turn to take care of their employees. And then that's what awakened everybody. Like, hey, this job, none of these jobs are trying to take care of us. What's going on here? Now, that's not every company. Some companies did take care of their clients, or not just their clients, their therapists. Some companies did take care of their employees. Some companies did. But it woke a lot of people up to show that just because I have a job does not mean they're going to take care of me. Because please believe those same people that woke up are the ones when they got back to their job when, 2020, the lockdown was over, they had to work 3 times as hard for the same pay, if not less. They're just now talking about maybe we should give them a little bit more money because everybody's leaving. Everybody's like, oh, forget this. I'm about to just do my own thing. At least, I ain't got to be pulled in the office. Well, I'm going to pull myself and I always talk to myself. I'm going to need to talk to you, Alonzo. What'd I do? You know what you did. Yeah, right. That's kind of weird, right? Let me forget about it. But you can't fire yourself, is what I'm saying. You can't get rid of yourself. You all you got until you build and get more employees under your belt. And then it's about you taking care of your employees, your assistant therapists, sisters. Right? So that's another thing to think about on ownership versus franchise. Franchise had control of your employment. You on your own, you got a control of it, of course. Right? And then you can live your dream as an entrepreneur. You can live that beyond your expectations. Like I said, you can travel. You can work on a cruise ship. You got your license no matter where you are. You can go to the cruise. You can move it here, move there. I mean, there's certifications where you can teach if you want. You can come up with your own courses. You can do whatever you want. Travel wherever you want, go wherever you want, and be able to do work there, as long as it's not more than 2 weeks. But that just shows you more locations. Go to Seattle, go to California, go to Vegas, go to Texas, go to all kinds of not just. I don't think it's statewide. I think it's city. Like if you go to Vegas, Vegas is the city. It's Nevada is the state. But if you go to city, I think it's that. I don't think it's for the whole state. Oh, you've been to Texas, huh? You only got 2 weeks. I think it is. But I could be wrong on that. Look that up if you're interested in that point. And that's why understanding like the benefits, W-2, but you got to file for taxes here. Understand the benefits to both sides. Does it benefit you to let somebody else control your life, your scheduling, your lunch break, your pay? Because that's what the franchise is doing. And if so, then, hey, that's what's best for you. But some people I know, or some therapists, hate it, but they're too lazy to do something about it because they like the conveniency of not having to do everything. So they just settle, right? We don't need those. But for the ones that's really making an impact here and really be able to grow, I'm telling you, what you put in is what you're going to get out. And you're only going to get out what you put in. And it's beyond what you can think of. You can do it, like I told before, you can do an event and you can get $2-3 grand in one day. If you value and you have a demand like that, and if you become popular at a franchise, the franchise is the one that's going to benefit off of that. But if you're popular with yourself and you got your Google reviews up and it's 5 stars across the board, you doing your thing, guess who's going to benefit off of that? That ain't gonna do nothing but bring you more, because they want to see if it's hyped or is it real. And when they see it's real, next thing you know, they come with their whole family reunion lining up after this, which is amazing. It's awesome to know that people believe in you and that you help them to the point that they want others to share their experience with you. They want them to feel that way too. That's what you want. Loving thy neighbor, caring for others, being for the people to help them. That's a priceless feeling. So there's a lot of messages and in this video, and I know I probably jumped all over the place. I probably been here and there, but it was putting 2 videos here. I mean, look at what I'm doing now, like doing a podcast, helping you all, right? Got my own practice, building contracts, helping here, helping other schools, learning modalities, traveling, seeing the world, helping other clients out of state, living a dream, doing what I love to do, because I know my why I do it. It all starts with the why. That's what you got to figure out. To me, this is like my purpose. Now, if it's your purpose, then hey, it's gonna keep knocking you in the head until you pay attention to it. But just because it's not your purpose, don't mean you can't have a great life doing it. It just depends if it fits your life. Because you can really, really take care of you more than you think. Don't look at the salary office, whatever you make it to be. It's easy to make, if you're thinking about money, right? But I don't do it for money. But if you want to think about money, because a lot of people, their first thing of research is, I wonder how much they make in a year or whatever. The average is, around 60,000, give or take. But if you think outside the box, like podcasts, you think outside the box, like merch, www.thezodiacexperience.com, go check it out. Think it's outside the box as like, Zoom classes, Reiki healing. If you're doing Reiki, like it's so many things, contracts, events, promos, promo to help bring people. Your prices have an effect on that. Even if you do $75 for a massage, you need 4. Think about it. You need 4 clients a day, right? That ends up being $300. And even if you don't work weekends, 5 times a day or 5 days in a week, right? That's $1,500. 4 weeks, that's $6,000 in a month, right? I mean, of course, you got to take out taxes and everything, which is, I would say, around 33%, you know. But you do that, that's 6 figures right there. Times it by 12. Right? Well, technically, three, 15, $3,000. I mean, well, a little bit more, $100. Like, you can do the math. Because I don't think that's 6 figures. But close. It's really good. Because then you think about $6,000 times, close. Right? But like I said, if you want, but that's $75. If you just do, and if you do weekends, then that's really going to get you. Right? But if you do $100 and then that's five, so you're looking at a day, right? Yeah, if you look at that a day, $500 a day, or what's that, 2,500? Then you talk about 10 grand. There we go. 10 grand a month, 12 months, 120,000. Easy. Still 4 people, but it depends on your prices. But easy. If that's your perspective. That's just to show you the value and what you can do. You can make a great living off of this. You don't need to be a millionaire, but like I said, the sky's the limit. You just gotta apply yourself and everything that goes with it. But like I said, you can see it in the reviews if you haven't looked at that. The Zodyac Experience, Zodyac. Look that up on Google. 5 stars across the board. And it's not like they just come, oh, great massage, man. I can't wait to come back. They're telling their story. It's authentic. Every single one of them is authentic because to me, I take it one session at a time. Once you touch this table, it's on. I'm about to help you as best as I can. I want you to feel amazing when you get up, enough where you want to rave to everybody and be like, look, y'all need to come here. Because I want to be impactful in humanity. Right? That's what I do. So that's something to check out. And if you are doing that, you're gonna, doing your own, you're gonna need an entrepreneur, or you trying to do entrepreneurship. You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna need a website. You're gonna need an accountant. You're gonna need a lawyer. Make sure your legal stuff is where it is. Right? You're gonna need all that. Marketing. You're gonna need everything. Build your website. You're gonna need it all. And I don't have to run down every single thing you need. But that's a start. If you're gonna do location, you're gonna do mobile. Which one is more popular? All that. Payment wise, are you gonna use Stripe or are you gonna use Square? You gonna do a deposit? What services are you gonna offer? Are you gonna offer, scrubs? Are you gonna offer more? Right? Do they need are you gonna give 100? That's another thing from franchises. You don't get 100% of your time, which I talked about before. Intake, and they take all that. And with me, you get 100% of your time with gaps in between everyone. 30 minutes, so that way they have time to get undressed and dress for free. To prepare for their session while I'm out of the room, of course. But they have, all that extra stuff. Intake already know what's going on. Maybe a brief conversation and make sure I got an understanding and make sure, I can meet their expectations. If they want a full session, they want me to just focus on a certain area. All that. And you don't have to worry about rushing, and you don't have to worry about, I got another client. You ain't got to worry about that stuff because you set the tone. It's your vision, is your dream, is what you want to do. Right? And that way you can feel like you deserved it because you did it and you put in the work, and that's what you got out of it. Don't you want to do that? Don't you want to, unless you was brought up with a silver spoon and parents that's not struggling and they can pay for all your stuff and try to help you fly or really do it for you until you can take over. And even if that's the case, don't you want to maintain that? That's if you have kids. But then I'm thinking about when you do have kids. Don't you want to be at their games? Don't you want to, if they're playing sports or if they're cheerleading or whatever they're doing, their school events, after school activities, teacher conferences? Don't you want to take them on trips? Don't you want to live and show them that they can have a good life and continue if you from that? And if you're not from that and brought up in the poverty and brought up struggling and don't you want to stop that? That way the next generation can have a better life and teach them how to do it so they didn't have to go through what you went through. That should be, is that part of your why? That's what I want to do. Don't you want to do that? It's up to you. Right? And last but not least, the reason why ownership I believe is important and why I do it for ownership is you can't pass down working at a franchise. It's about the next generation. To me, my two boys, I can pass this down and build up something that they can be proud of. So when I transition on, I pass on, I transition on, they can remember this logo and be like, my dad did that. And with his dream and his vision of helping people is now helping thousands. And even though they may not want to be a licensed massage therapist, they may not want to do it, but at least they have something that they can be a part of, right? That they don't have to go through the struggles I went through. I wanted more. It wasn't just about a paycheck when I was working for a franchise. It wasn't just about being able to make a living. It was about being able to prevent the struggle that I went through for my boys. I can't pass down that. I can pass down this and say, here you go. And build that up in such a way to create generational wealth. It's much bigger than me. So, it's a beautiful it's a beautiful thing to do. It's a beautiful industry to be in. It's well worth it. It's lovely. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. You just got to, it all starts with why. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Much love to everybody. And remember to resync back to yourself. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can get notified on the new uploads to the channel. If you're watching this on my website, thezodiacexperience.com, make sure you join the email list where you can get notified on new episodes or even a chance to join the live show, me and the audience, and even get some cool gear like this jacket and shirt. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, iTunes, whatever you are, make sure you follow so you can get notified as well. And last but not least, if you're not following me on any of the social platforms, IG, Facebook, TikTok, etc., everything is at the Zodiac Experience. All the links, everything else could be found down below. Appreciate you tuning in. Once again, thank you. And remember to resync back to yourself.